Em took a deep breath and slowly exhaled, as gently and carefully as possible, yet she still could not escape the excruciating pain, as if thousands of arrows were piercing straight into her chest. Every breath felt like torture, repeating endlessly without pause. Of course, she could not simply stop breathing. No one understood what terrible illness was tormenting Em so cruelly. Breathing was unbearable, and she could barely walk. Whenever she wanted to move, she had to use both hands to cling to the wall for support while dragging her feet across the floor. As she struggled forward, she groaned in pain before collapsing onto the ground, muttering to herself, "It hurts so much, it hurts so much. I'd rather just die and get it over with." She could neither eat nor sleep, spending night after night awake in agony. This only left her body more exhausted. Unable to endure it any longer, Em decided to see a doctor. After examinations and tests, the doctor handed her the following diagnosis: patient, VM, born in 1978, residing in Melbourne, Australia, diagnosed with neuropathic pain caused by a viral infection. The doctor also prescribed medication for her. However, even after taking the medicine, her condition showed no improvement at all. As a Vietnamese immigrant living in Australia, where the population is sparse and Buddhism is not as widespread as in Vietnam, temples were few and far between. Therefore, the easiest way for Em to encounter the Buddhadharma was through the internet. One day, she happened upon Buddhist articles on the website thuvianquangtu.com. She became deeply absorbed, reading one article after another, gradually realizing that illness itself could be the result of negative karma created in the past. The website also shared many true stories of people recovering from illness through Buddhist practice. Truthfully, Em had never imagined she would try to heal through Buddhism. She considered it difficult to believe and somewhat superstitious. But desperate people try every possible remedy, and she thought to herself, "I'm already suffering to the point of death. There's no harm in trying. Even if it doesn't work, I lose nothing." So Em slowly made her way to the Buddha altar, holding a repentance ritual excerpted from the Golden Light Sutra together with the Great Compassion Mantra, which she had found on thuvianquangtu.com and printed out for easier reading. As she recited each word, sweat poured from her body because of the intense pain. She alternated between kneeling, sitting, rolling, and writhing on the floor. Sometimes she leaned against the wall to rest briefly before continuing. Though her outward form lacked dignity and composure, her heart was utterly sincere. At times, she even felt shocked and deeply moved. Every line of repentance struck her conscience like rolling thunder, awakening her spirit. At that moment, she realized she was not as kind-hearted as she had always imagined herself to be. Alongside her good deeds, she had also committed many wrongdoings. As she recited, memories of her past harmful actions resurfaced, causing her to shiver with shame and remorse while sincerely wishing to change. After completing the repentance ritual, Em began chanting the Great Compassion Mantra. The moment she started chanting, a strange sensation of lightness and peace spread throughout her body, and the pain seemed to calm somewhat. Although the relief was still slight, it was noticeable. Afterward, Em continued reciting the holy name of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, praying for this strange illness to disappear. The pain prevented her from maintaining the practice for long, and she collapsed onto her bed while still murmuring, "Namo Great Compassion Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Namo Great Compassion Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva." Quote. Half asleep and half awake, she suddenly jolted in shock when she felt a stream of cold water splash directly onto her body. Em quickly sat upright, brushed at her clothes, and exclaimed, "Oh my goodness, who splashed cold water on me?" But when she looked around, her clothes were completely dry, with not the slightest trace of water. It was winter in Melbourne, Australia in mid-2021, and the weather was already quite cold, leaving her body shivering. Em rubbed her arms and kept wondering where that mysterious splash of water had come from. But suddenly she gasped in surprise. "Oh, I can breathe normally again." Most importantly, breathing no longer caused pain. She deliberately took another deep breath into her chest to test it once more. "There's truly no pain at all anymore. Em cried out joyfully. She got out of bed and walked back and forth with ease, like someone who had never been sick. It was truly miraculous. Em no longer questioned what had happened. Only through the wondrous power of the great compassion mantra, the blessings of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, sincere repentance, and her own efforts in cultivation could such an illness vanish as though it had never existed. When Em previously read true stories of people healed through Buddhism, she had doubted them and even considered them superstitious. But after personally experiencing it herself, her faith became unwavering, and all uncertainty disappeared. From that moment on, she wholeheartedly devoted herself to the Triple Gem, striving to study the Buddha's teachings and practice according to them so that her life would become ever brighter and better.